U.S. Navy reports that a $60 to $70 million F-18 Super Hornet fighter jet fell off an aircraft carrier and sank into the Red Sea. Officials say it was a mishap while towing the jet around the hangar bay of the USS Harry S. Truman, a Nimitz-class carrier operating in the Red Sea since September. The two enlisted men involved were able to jump to safety with only one sustaining a minor injury. The tow tractor was also lost. U.S. officials say a sharp turn by the carrier to avoid Houthi fire may have caused the mishap. Earlier this year, the carrier collided with a merchant ship. The carrier was slated to come home a month before the jet mishap, but its deployment was extended. No plans to retrieve the multi-million-dollar jet have been made at this time. Neither have any plans been made to retrieve the tow tractor. Lab-grown teeth could offer alternative to fillings and implants. I can't blame them. I could probably use a couple. Definitely go for a trade-in. Scientists in the UK have developed a new material that may allow them to grow teeth in the lab, which could provide an alternative to fillings and dental implants someday. May? Could? Someday? This better get convoluted because that sounds distinctly like no teeth have been grown. Let's see where it goes. Deceptive title. The teams have developed a special material that allows cells to communicate with one another. Stem cells? The material allows stem cells to communicate with the body. It's made from hydrogel, a soft gel that can absorb a lot of water. Emulating the matrix, it says that, or the environment around the cells. Previous attempts failed because the signals all dumped in one go. The new material acts like an oxy-timed release and releases signals slowly over time. 5 to 10% of implants are rejected. This would be much less likely to be rejected. Ain't much room to go from 5 to 10%. They would naturally regenerate, integrating into the jaw as real teeth. They are working on how to introduce the tooth to the body. Zhang, the UK scientist, is quoted saying, "We have different ideas to put the teeth inside the mouth." Wild. Faraday cage drone triggers and directs lightning strikes. Huh? So the robots learn to harness the power of Mother Nature's static claim. Mother Nature's natural power. Old Zoo Zap Attack. Pack a power plane. Knock it off. So what's Faraday cage? I know you're thinking about a Tesla coil. Goog says it's just a lightning-proof box. Faraday catches lightning and Tesla fires it. Shut up. So some Gundam mechanics put a drone in a shock-proof box and sent it into a storm. Don't call Japanese researchers Gundam mechanics. How about Gundam R&D? Sounds like a modern-day Benny Franks. Drone even attached to a winch. Literally a key tied to a kite. It's literally a drone in a Faraday cage attached to a winch. A lot of fun you are. Break it off. Says they ain't just catching it, but inducing it. I think that means making it. And they working on a method to store it. So they're either working on a power source for the Gundam, or an energy sword. Always wanted a Halo sword. You wanted a lightsaber and Halo gave you an out to admit it. Sure. Well, let's be honest. If we're talking laser melee weapons, the Halo sword shape is way cooler than the stick. And the way you hold it, the handle or the hilt, I don't know the lore on a Halo sword though. Not sure if it's like a lightsaber and just be cutting through shit. If it does, then the sword is probably a terrible shape. Stick way safer. Swords still look cooler though. And at least it'll cauterize the wound when you inevitably bisect yourself. Don't think cauterization gonna be a determining factor at that point. Don't want to end up like that kid on Tusk. Didn't he survive cutting his leg off and then later mark himself due to the depression of the internet laughing at him for chopping his own leg off? You may be right. If not, though, that's a wild fabrication you just imagine happened. Nike announces the NFL is trying a new Rivalries program. The program will see teams wearing alternative uniforms for select home games against rivals. The uniforms will be worn for a single home game against a division rival. These new Rivalries jerseys will be added in addition to other alternative uniforms, meaning throwbacks should remain unaffected. The designs are expected to be revealed after the NFL's schedule announcement next month. Nike says the jerseys will join a team's rotation for 3 years after its initial release, Currently, only the AFC East and NFC West are selected to participate. Additional teams will be added in subsequent years. AFC South and the NFC North in 2026, NFC East, AFC West in 2027, and finally the AFC North and NFC South in 2028. The Rivalries concept is the NFL's version of the City Connect jerseys that have been popular in MLB and the NBA. Nike describes the new gear as unique uniforms rooted extensively in local community insights. The NFL says, fan gear inspired by communities. Nothing brings football communities together like a good merch campaign. Local community-inspired apparel will be available across Canada, Mexico, Europe, Australia, and international retailers. Quick disclaimer, this is an ongoing court case, so allegedly innocent till proven guilty, due process. This is all information I found with Googs. Anything else is my personal opinion. Allegedly. Good. That'll protect us from liability. Erin Patterson, a 50-year-old Australian woman, is charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. She's accused of serving poisoned beef Wellington for lunch at her house in South Gibson, Australia on July 2023. The deaths occurred days later in the hospital. The victims and relations. Both of her ex-in-laws, Don Patterson, 70, Gail Patterson, 70, and Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson. Heather's husband and local pastor, Ian Wilkinson, survived after weeks of intensive treatment. In the same hospital his wife died in. That's tough. Her ex-husband, Simon, had texted her the night before the lunch and told her he felt uncomfortable attending. How'd to let your parents still go? The cause of death was determined to be death cap mushrooms. Death cap mushrooms are responsible for the majority of mushroom poisonings. It's listed as the deadliest to humans. They contain 3 main types of toxins. A small piece of a single cap can be fatal to a human adult. The toxins cannot be destroyed by boiling, cooking, freezing, or drying, or apparently any method known to man. Symptoms of death cap poisoning begin with nausea, abdominal pain, vomiting, and diarrhea, starting within the first 6 to 24 hours. Sounds like food poisoning. Hydrating can alleviate the symptoms, sometimes leading to a false recovery, where the person feels better and delays seeking medical attention. So far, I could confuse it with a hangover. The toxins cause the prevention of DNA production. This leads to liver and kidney failure, left untreated, coma, and death. Erin Patterson's defense isn't contesting any of this. It's established she served her lunch guest beef Wellington with death cap. Her defense is only claiming it was a tragic accident and she didn't intentionally do it. Okay. Wouldn't that still be manslaughter or something? Later. Let's look at the evidence. I'll start with what's against her because I genuinely can't find anything for her besides her just claiming it was an accident. So I'll list the bad, and if I find any good, I'll save it for the end. Don't put that in. First, she fabricated a story of having health concerns to get the guests to arrive. This story was also used to keep the children from attending. She lied to police about foraging for mushrooms. Her phone records show she visited 2 areas where death cap mushrooms had been reported. Her visits correspond with public posts that detail and image the mushrooms and their locations. She lied about owning and using a food dehydrator. She claimed she may have owned one years ago, but photos were found of her with the dehydrator and discussing her habit of dehydrating mushrooms. These were found in a Facebook group dedicated to convicted baby killer Kelly Lane. Is that relevant? CCTV footage shows her dumping the dehydrator at a local garbage dump. Forensic analysis found her fingerprints on the dehydrator and traces of death cap mushrooms inside. Her phone was never recovered, and a phone found at her residence had been factory reset. The food was served on matching plates, except hers, which was smaller and a different color. No way gonna mix them up. And her defense responds with, she's generous and kind. Looks it. And that's it. Every piece of evidence was an accident. That's all her defense has. Yes, it was Miss Patterson in the dining room with the mushroom, but it was an accident. Sure, totes. Let's see what Australia does for murder. Just life. I thought they might give her back. Try on the internet.